Around them because they'll dig through shit.
And we're back. We're live.
Oh my god!
I was not prepared for that.
Episode 5.
Wow,
Of Kangz
unbelievable.
Council, boys. The podcast that actually gets better when you listen to it at 2 times speed. So what is up, y'all?
Hey.
How you doing? We're ready. And I got with me the head commissioner of the Weeaboo Police, Despair.
You mean Cosmic Kaiser?
Cosmic Kaiser's he's
Unbelievable.
the culprit. He's the culprit. He's getting arrested.
I don't know the fuck.
Oh yeah, you're right. I am the head of the Weeaboo Police. You're right. You're right.
And then the expert of all things curtains, even those made of beef. Follow your dreams.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Oh, he took that mantle. He took on that mantle. No shame.
And then we got the homie in the cut, chilling out. Cosmic West in the building.
Oh.
No idea what that is.
I'm not even gonna question what that was.
Ain't no time to explain. Just get on with it.
Unbelievable.
We're ready. We're live.
We're
But I'll
live,
tell you
pal.
what, in 2024, I did not have Brian Cox narrating a fucking Tekken story so far. Trailer. What? I mean, first of all, this shit was amazing. It was godlike. This was probably one of the best things I've seen
Yeah,
for
that
a
shit was
fighting
dope.
game that was done.
Yeah.
But holy hell, did this come out of nowhere? I don't know. Fala, I know you wanted to talk about this. Let's go.
I mean,
go.
I just think it's really cool, especially when, like, you know, we all played fighting games. I mean, games in general back in the day was very niche, and now it's kind of part of popular culture. But, you know, even more niche was like fighting games, right? There wasn't really a lot of people playing those kind of things. And so when you see Brian Cox do a like a preview for Tekken summarizing the story, just the fact, like, it's really interesting of how far we've come, you know? Like, who
It kind of
would've
gives
thought?
like this. It kind of gives like this for the people that aren't already like interested in it. It kind of gives like this badge of like authenticity or something, right?
Yes.
Like you see
Yeah,
something
like
like
it feels
that, yeah,
legitimacy to it.
You see something like that, and you know that the people that don't know, but they know Brian Cox, they'd be like, oh wait, what? Why is he attached to this shit? This might be cool, right? You know what that reminds me of though? To a lesser extent, how Negan came out of nowhere as a DLC character in Tekken 7, right? Like that to me was like the beginning. That was like them trying to like you could see what they were trying to do. Because I thought it was super random. It's not who I would have wanted, but like
But it
in
makes sense.
terms of like, yeah, I was like, wow, okay, they're actually trying to push this shit mainstream.
Yeah,
So
so
that's
we're
what I
trying
feel
to
like
tap
they're
into the
continuing to do.
mainstream pop culture,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Because remember,
I mean,
Victor.
also at the time, the Walking Dead was at the height of its
yeah, it was peak.
popularity.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah,
What's
So
the
that's
guy's
smart
name
on
that
their
they also have Victor in the game, who's voiced by prevalent fucking actor too. So it's like, damn, that's pretty cool.
Right, Victor Chabot,
oh yes,
yeah.
by the French
Yeah,
actor,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
that
like,
dude-
man, I don't know what they're doing with this game, but I'm with it.
I mean,
I am with it.
It feels special, right? Like
Yeah, it
that's the
does.
main thing. It just makes it.
It feels
feel
like they
special.
give a fuck about this game. You know, pushing fighting games at least
Yes.
past this like little niche audience. I mean, it's gonna do a little bit, right? But I want that to be like the beginning of like every other fighting game doing stuff like that. Like Street Fighters have been doing stuff like that when they collaborate with like, you know, like Lil Wayne, all the other stuff.
Lil
They
Wayne
do
and
stuff
stuff,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Fiasco.
But like,
But-
this feels different because, yeah, you can market with like rappers and all the other shit, right? But that's different. I feel like those people already know about Street Fighter, right? We already know about Street Fighter.
right.
There are people that know about
Exactly.
Brian Cox that don't know nothing about any of this shit, right? So that's the cool shit. So I'm all for it.
But the other thing too is like, say I didn't know what Tekken is. This was like, it was also very hilarious because it's comedic time of just tossing people off cliffs or whatever.
Yeah.
But also it was very true at the same time. So like for someone who like never knew anything about Tekken or was curious about their story, you know, some people are just not motivated by like fighting games, right? They need a reason to get motivated to play a game. And I think this is a great trailer that sums up these things. I know they skip some things, but whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick. But for the most part, like if you're just new, you understand. Okay, so this is like about a family and blah blah blah. You can't do that with Street Fighter. You know why? Because there's so many there's like
It's too
billion different
disjointed.
storylines.
Yeah.
That like
Way too disjointed.
like you kind of have to like puzzle it all up together, and it
Well,
doesn't revolve around, you know.
All they really have to do, I feel like, is have that one game where they like kind of focus it down, right? Like how Tekken's
Right.
story was always
Mishima.
digestible, but like it wasn't until Tekken 7 really where it was very cohesive, right? Like, yeah, we had the shit narrated or whatever, right? But they kind of like narrowed it down to just straight up Mishimas, right? Like it was always about Mishimas, but in Tekken 7 it felt more like personal, like Heihachi, Kazuya, whatever, right? And
Right.
I feel like that's the route they're going, obviously. But Street Fighter could just do the same thing. They just got to narrow it down instead of just adding like, I don't know. It's possible they can do it. They just need that one story mode where they kind of
I'm not
condense
saying
everything.
I'm not saying not possible, but like the focus of Street Fighter 6 wasn't like the characters of Street Fighter. It was more like you, right? They're trying to like you're in Street Fighter, right? It's a very different from like here's the storyline that we were telling of like, you know,
The cool part
Bison
is
and
Tekken has
Ryu or
both
whatever.
apparently.
Yeah, Tekken. I mean, Tekken has
Yeah,
all
the
the
arcade
shilly
quest too. That
shit.
shit's cool.
Oh yeah, that's cool too. You know, I did see a little bit of that, and that's pretty cool because it reminds me of this like, if you guys ever went to the arcades and just like there's always like little drama here and there.
Yeah,
And
it was always like a divide between like the elitists that are like, oh my god, scrubs, and then the casual players that are just there to have fun. Like, so, and if you play it, it's hella cute because there's always like these guys that are like, yeah, man, Tekken is the best. If you're a scrub, leave the arcade, blah blah blah. It's hella crazy. It's hella relatable, right? So it has that on the side, but like I feel like the people that this kind of trailer or this kind of collaboration, the people that this appeals to is it's a lot of motherfuckers. Like, so them obviously they left a lot out story wise, but
right,
they got to make it digestible for people that have no idea what the fuck this game is about.
Yeah,
and let's be real, sometimes I don't even know what this game is about. So
right, exactly.
So,
like, it's very confusing, and also like it's also confusing to be like, oh, so Jin's an asshole too. It's best to just simplify things and being like, okay, because he is kind of like the big bad, and Jin is the good guy, and let's not talk about Tekken.
Yeah,
you know, but
to be fair, Tekken, he had a reason, but yeah.
I mean, he had a reason, but let's just we're gonna forget that he just slaughtered.
I mean, hey, Jin is basically the Sasuke of the game. Like he had to do his thing. He had to make some sacrifices and sacrifice some people. Like,
yeah, a bunch of motherfuckers.
No matter
died,
how much of a
bro.
dick
Got
he
what he
is,
wanted.
people are still gonna love him, right?
yeah, he ultimately succeeded. So I mean, hey,
Yeah,
well,
it's true.
whatever. Yeah.
But you know, whatever, right? There's arguments you can make with that. But I do, even though Tekken does have a lot of this quirkiness and silliness, they kind of do that with all the non-serious characters. But in the main storyline, by having Brian Cox do this, it's kind of like, hey man, this is gonna be an epic conclusion, or this is gonna be like a big event that's happening, right? And it just gives it that like big time feel that that's really cool to see. And I really hope like, you know, it helps engage new players towards trying out Tekken, because I feel like Tekken for like a casual point of view is easier for casuals to just kind of just get into it, you know, mash some buttons, and you know, you get to do
that's why it's
shit.
social.
Obviously it's not like high level or whatever, but like, you know, like when my first experiences was probably Tekken 2, Tekken 3, and then I just had fun just beating the arcade mode and then playing the Tekken Force with my friends.
Yeah, it's one of the very few games where you can mash buttons and still have fun in the game. Like, and still like do cool looking shit, right? Without having, no slight on other games, but without having like a different control scheme to just make it easier for you. It's like one of the, it's a 4-button game, right? It's very easy to understand, left, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I do hope, I feel like after Tekken 7, it's very easy for them to try to capitalize on like, you know, the masses, because it's already there. It's just, it's been so long since Tekken 7 came out. It's like, damn, it's about fucking time. But I don't know, man. Like that, when I saw that, I woke up to that and I was like, damn, bro, this shit came a long way. Because like, We almost lost Tekken, bro. Like after Tekken 6 and Tag 2, Tekken was almost gone. So it's kind of crazy to see where like how it just recovered, and it's just literally on the top of his game right now. So hopefully,
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
it's interesting because Tekken 7, obviously Tekken 7 is really popular now, but it was like a very slow momentum build, you know, like it was like season 1 and 2, and then from like
sense.
3 on, like you know, with the
I'm glad it
tournaments
did.
getting more traction and like the, you know what I'm saying, like I'm super cool, like because no
Well,
other
for the people
fighting
that
game
were
really
there,
grew in
like,
numbers, you know.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Tekken is the game that has it's like the one fighting game that has legs, right? Where it I mean it launched, well, not obviously not the arcade launch, but when it launched, it was pretty big because everybody was talking about Akuma, blah blah blah, all the other shit, right? And it was a pretty big launch. But then we had like all the like competitively it blew up like the year after it launched on consoles and shit like that. Like it was a big deal, but it was one of those, it's still one of those games, one of the only games that it grew and it stayed like relevant over the years. It's been out for a long time and it's been able to stay relevant, right? Yeah.
A
lot of games will just fade to the back. Yeah, a lot of games just fade to the background after like the 3rd or 4th year. So it's kind of crazy to see that it's still relevant, leading into Tekken 8, right? Like it's shit. TWT is, I think, next week. I don't remember,
something
but
like that. Yeah,
I think it's this
like,
weekend actually.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Tekken World Tour.
It's one of these weeks before the game drops. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's this weekend.
It's this weekend. Yep.
Okay,
this
cool.
weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, it's one of those. It had legs, which is very rare for a fighting game nowadays. Like well, especially back then, right? Where there was so many. They were like, it was like a new fighting game like every other fucking month. So for a game to survive that long without having a new game is kind of crazy.
Well, I think even just looking back at this year, right, and looking at like Street Fighter 6, looking at MK1, it's like fighting games have kind of elevated in their just standard, or not standard, but their like platform in the gaming industry overall. Like where a fighting game was this niche thing, now it's like they've risen in such popularity that they're garnering this like mainstream attention, right? Where like Call of Duty was one of the early games that it was like celebrity cameos and commercials. Oh shit, look at this! I didn't know this celebrity played Call of Duty and all of this, and then like Street Fighter had Lil Wayne, like you said, they had Lupe Fiasco. They've been doing stuff, but it feels like they're like catering to their already established demographic.
Exactly.
Then you got MK, who's been trying to like fish in the mainstream. They got like they had Ronda Rousey and then Megan Fox, so they're doing it on like on the opposite end where it seems like it's not working for them. And this was just kind of like really out there, and it's good to see because it's just like this is gonna get a lot of attention, right? Tekken's easy, one of those games where it's like easy to like pick up, hard to master, right? Like
it's
a lot of other
very weird because Street Fighter and Tekken are like the only games that ever have longevity. Yeah. Obviously, they're the most popular fighting games, right? But like, it's very
recognizable
crazy that, like, obviously MK, we already know MK is fucking up there, but like, this past MK kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. How it just fell off, but whatever.
Whatever. I think that's due part of the promotion and due to part of like its own community, like basically like not getting together and like. No one really agrees on whether or not they like the game. Where it's kind of like unanimous for the majority of them.
I don't want to shit on casual players, but
I don't believe it's the casual.
You know what that kind of showed? I do believe it is because it kind of showed that MK's popularity is probably like 98% of the casual audience because they'll play the game, they'll play the story mode, and then they won't play it anymore. You won't hear about it anymore. Like they'll buy it, or they'll wait and they'll buy it on sale, or they'll just watch the game on YouTube, right? Because I feel like a lot of the publicity we've gotten from like older MK games is it comes out, WB will put up like a shit ton of money for like tournaments and stuff like that, right? You'll hear a bunch of stuff about it, hear news about it, Sonic Fox, whoever else is relevant at the time, right? You'll hear all about it everywhere. Did they even do that this time?
No, I feel like WB is not promoting the game. They're not putting money into
nothing big like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
They put more money into multiverses and that flop.
Yeah, it kind of shows that sometimes you kind of do need that competitive side to keep a game relevant. Like you really do. That's why Tekken's still relevant. That's why Street Fighter is always like relevant throughout the years because every year there's something cool happening in like the competitive like sphere, right?
Yeah, I mean Street Fighter 6 came out the gate with like $2 million for
that's
Capcom
big
Cup
in itself, right? So it's like I don't know, man. Like what? I would say fighting games have come a long way, but they haven't. It's just the two juggernauts, Street Fighter and Tekken, as usual.
Well, they usually
But-
carry the
but-
rest of the scene though, right? Like
for
they
the
put the
most
rest of the
part-
scene in the
but-
backpack.
But if
that's-
Tekken, but the thing is, if Tekken and Street Fighter do really, really well, that just raises all the other.
Oh
you
yeah,
know
of
what I
course
mean?
it
Like,
does. Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, like, it's very weird to see a game like MK just fall off the wayside like that.
yeah.
But that was
but
like
you
one of
know-
the big 3 games.
And it
Like-
still sold
like it's
well. It's
because-
still gonna continue to sell well.
Yeah.
It's just
I
Yeah,
bought
but
it.
selling
faltering.
well initially is expected, but
Yeah.
MK games usually have legs as well. Like,
Mhm.
so it's very weird. I don't know.
It's got
Yeah,
the same
you
numbers as
know-
MK11 so far. So
Yeah, but
I
that
mean,
MK11 wasn't the best either
true. No, but it still sold well.
in terms of sales.
Still was one of the
Well,
Yeah.
relatively.
yeah.
I mean,
Like-
for a fighting game, sure, yeah, absolutely. But you know, it's one of those things. Do you feel like casual fans feel like, oh, there's no point in me being invested in the game because I already know a new Mortal Kombat is gonna come out in 2 years' time, so maybe
Maybe.
that's why. Like,
I
you know
don't
what I mean?
know,
'Cause
man.
it's been like this since MK9, right?
Yeah, but the
Realistically,
thing
it's like-
was, right, MK9, I feel like they've done this with MK9, MKX, and MK11, where they kind of kept the game alive. Like, they made it a point to keep the game alive. Like, whether it was randomly coming out with, like, okay, we're putting money, we're hosting this event, we're doing this. I haven't heard any news. Like, normally, when I'm on, like, Twitter, I'll see I'll see clips from random content creators about MK this event, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this game. I hear nothing about this game, bro. So I don't know. Is it the casual audience or is it the competitive? Like, did both audiences just not care? Obviously it sold well initially, but I heard it just fell off. Like, it sales wise as well, it just fell off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I don't really expect the game to be supported tournament wise because WB, I don't know if you guys keep track of other shit, is not doing well.
Yeah, I don't know what's
fiscally.
been going on with them. Yeah.
So they're pretty much near bankrupt, and if Suicide Squad
Really?
Squad bombs, yeah,
That's
because they've been
insane.
bombing in terms of movies. I mean, that's why
Yeah, they definitely been flopping. That's
the merger between them and Paramount was like kind of like a big deal. I mean,
yeah.
obviously in my industry, because it's bad for everyone involved, because like if they merge, it's like a monopoly and also
Mhm.
like less opportunities and yada yada stuff like that. But yeah, man, they've been getting hit really hard, and they're kind of close to bankruptcy. So I don't expect them to
Wait a minute. Can I get a?
I don't
Hold
ex-
on, I'm looking
Mhm.
at. Go ahead, my fault. I'm just looking something up real.
Oh, I don't really expect them to put extra money towards MK11 in terms of to support the
No.
competitive play. At
So
all.
MK11
Multiverse
came
is
out
strange. Yeah.
in 2019, right? When did Street Fighter 5 come out?
Ooh,
2016. 2016. And Tekken 8,
yeah,
Tekken 7 came out around that same time, right?
Well, you gotta remember
2017?
Tekken 7
So
was
you-
also like in arcades like 2
Arcades
years
from-
before
Yeah,
it
doesn't
actually
matter.
dropped.
That doesn't
there.
that doesn't
Yeah.
matter though. That
No,
doesn't
no,
matter
that's
in
not gonna
comparison.
affect
When you're
it.
talking about console sales, that doesn't matter. Like, I'm talking
Console
about
came out 2017.
Yeah, so think about this,
2017.
right? Think about this. That actually just proves a very interesting point, right? So is this the first time that an MK launched alongside Street Fighter and Tekken? I think
I
it is.
think so.
Because MK usually
Yes.
launches like on its own, right? And
They
like,
usually launch
hold on.
yeah on separate years.
MK
They usually launch April too, right? Like around
MKX
April?
came out 2015. Yeah, April 2015. Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, you know, we had all that hype and momentum going into Street Fighter 6, right? We have all this hype and momentum going into Tekken 8. And then it's like MK was just like stuck in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think MK's ever directly obviously it's a fighting game, it's competing with it, but when it comes to like the release timing, it never really competed with these other games. So it's
No.
kind of weird.
You know, it might have been a call from WB seeing Street Fighter get all that buzz
Mhm,
because
mhm.
they already knew it was gonna come out.
Yeah,
right?
wasn't
And they
Street
were
Fighter
like,
6 like the top played game on Steam its first week? Something like that. Like it
Yeah,
had
but
outrageous
MK
Steam
got
numbers.
announced. MK got announced like way before that. That
Way before
release
that,
date got announced before Street Fighter came out. So like, I don't know, man. That's something to think about. I don't know if MK can. I don't know, man. Maybe they're gonna have to release that shit. They're gonna have to start releasing that like a year later now. Because I don't think the audience is the same. Like, you know, there's gonna be a lot of crossover from like Street Fighter and Tekken players, right? It's they're two big fighting games. So even if Street Fighter players don't stick with it, people are gonna play it. Even if Tekken players don't stick with Street Fighter, they're still gonna play it, right? You
yeah,
can't
people
say
are
that
gonna
about
play for at
NRS
least
games.
the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, you can't say that about NRS games. Like, I don't know, whatever. Maybe an NRS fan could tell me differently, but I don't know if that's the kind of game that they should launch again against these two games now. I don't think they should do that. I think that's what it was, bro. I think people saw Tekken, like people saw Street Fighter, right? And they were like, I'm gonna play Street Fighter. And then MK came out and Tekken was right around the corner. So like, yeah, I'm just gonna play Tekken, right? Because I do feel like there's probably not as much crossover between SF and Tekken as there is between MK and Tekken, right?
When did the Tekken release date get announced though? Did we always know it was gonna be January?
It was over the summer, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was like August, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because
the trailer that announced the release date was in August.
August. Yeah.
Wow.
So August, and by then I think NRS already knew that the game was coming out in September, right? So
yeah, they were already getting ready to go for September. It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shift in power now. Yeah, it's an interesting shift because usually MK is just the juggernaut with the casual audience, and now it's just like, well, it seems to be gone by the wayside.
But is it the juggernaut because it usually it's in its own bubble when it comes out? There's nothing else out. I mean, there's nothing else out. There's nothing else like launching in that same time frame. So is that the reason why? That's kind of crazy to think about.
I don't know. It kind of feels like, you remember how the whole game of the year thing, like all these games last year were the game of the year, but then Baldur's Gate was just kind of like, oh man, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the same kind of effect, or is it, because maybe they just need to make like a side game, besides like another Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat hasn't been gone for a while. When Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 6, it was like a huge gap of years. Like so there's always like that huge anticipation. And for Tekken, I mean, it's the same case. So it's like, oh man, this is the thing. But Mortal Kombat, we know another one's coming out next year or a year or two from now.
There's rumors that they were supposed to be working on like a Marvel game or an Injustice
or like a Shaolin Monks 2 or something.
Well, that's different. I don't want to.
There's always rumors that they're going to be working on the next game.
If it's a Marvel game, that's going to sell itself just off of the name. I'm just strictly speaking MK.
No. I'm just saying like that's like their next project. I don't think they're going to work directly on another MK game for a while. I
have no idea what they're going to work on.
Especially after this, I don't think so.
Maybe they're working on something. I feel like MK11 didn't really do well.
No.
Amongst, obviously it sold the first couple months or whatever, but it didn't really do well. Like the perception wasn't too well. So they kind of had to like knock it out of the park with MK1, and I don't know. I have to see how that game does in a year from now.
I mean, it depends what they care. If they care about sales, I guess they met it. But
yeah, but I feel like as a game,
I don't think they care about
your
game. Right now.
Yeah, but you still want your game to sell.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, you don't want it to just sell for 1 month and then no one buys the game anymore. Like that's not going to recoup costs. Like that's not going to really.
They only really want player retention if they are continuing to support the game.
No, they don't care about. You don't really need
that.
retention. You need people still buying the game months from now, years from now.
Well,
like you don't need. They don't even have to buy it. You don't have to keep playing it. You want people to buy it. Like the people that keep playing it aren't giving you money repeatedly. They're not giving you $60 every time they turn the game on.
They are if you're releasing a stream of like DLC and content, like the same way like Fortnite, for example, like games like that, right? No, exactly, and I think that's probably a contributing factor to that. They think that it's going to continue to generate
that is true
kind of
because
revenue
they do MK battle pass, well, whatever they call the fighter passes,
combat pass.
They be going off, yeah. They be having like crazy ass cameo characters, and people be buying them shit. So you're right, yeah.
Blah, blah,
that is definitely true, yeah. That is true.
I think that's.
I mean, they have pretty cool guest characters too.
MK is definitely one of those games where they'll live or die by those fucking combat passes. So you're right, yeah. You're right. Because they probably have an influx of people in every time a combat pass comes out or whatever.
Returning players. It's just because then they have a bunch of other stuff that they've monetized in this game too. I don't play it, so I don't know, but it's just like things that people are complaining about. They've done like seasonal content now and stuff like that. Like they've never done shit like that before. They had like seasonal fatalities and stuff that people were just upset about. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a contributing factor. People are just like sick of it, and like you don't want to pump money into a game like that. Like it's hard for a fighting game, like. They might be trying to move a little too fast. Right?
Man, maybe they should have got Brian Cox. Let me stop.
Hell no.
I mean,
they had Jean-Claude Van Damme.
True.
They did.
True.
That was cool. I didn't even use the skin though. I didn't use them.
It was so convoluted. I couldn't even figure out how to fucking pick the skin, to be honest.
With respect to Van Damme, because obviously man's got his money and his likeness.
Much respect to Van Damme.
So good for him, exactly.
Come on the podcast, Jean-Claude.
For me personally, Van Damme isn't a Brian Cox. So
No, of course not.
Like I'm just saying,
blasphemy.
bro, like, sorry,
Look, I'm
like,
look, listen, I'm not gonna compare apples and oranges here.
yeah, I know, but like that's a different beast. Like,
Send one of the
I
rings.
will say,
Flair versus Van Damme.
no, but I wouldn't
out.
get in
See
the ring
ya.
with that. No, but Brian Cox just lends like legitimacy, and it's really cool to see fighting games come so far. And because I never thought this moment would ever happen, so for it
Tekken
to
8,
happen,
baby, let's go.
Yeah, like
I mean, for whatever it ended up being, luckily it's Tekken 8. But like, you know, hopefully in the future, you know, they're able to make the next step. People are able to play these games more because, you know, fighting games is something great, right?
Tekken 8 comes out in 2 weeks, baby. Everybody buy that shit. Namco sponsor me.
everybody get ready, buy it. Don't let it go wayside like MK, and don't let it. Don't let Bandai Namco go broke like WB. And you know who else is going broke?
Oh Lord,
Who's going, bro?
Tell you what,
can't say
boys,
going broke. They've been broke.
Twitch is
Which been broke.
confirmed. No, not bringing in any profit, my boys. That's yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah, we knew this.
I feel like
that was for the people that weren't in the know, of course. Like, but like we knew this. What I was most surprised about was that he said Amazon still has faith in it, right? So that kind of answers a lot of questions because we've always like speculated. Damn, I wonder if Amazon like, I wonder if they're just gonna fucking cut them off or some shit like that. People have always said shit like that, and it's like, well, clearly Amazon has like, I don't know. Clearly they don't care. They're like, man, okay, we're gonna support this shit. They just laid off what, like 80 billion people.
34% of their staff, which I think was about like 500 or so employees, right? That's an outrageous amount of people that were just let go right after the holiday season. It's very unfortunate to those who did lose their positions, those that have been a Twitch for maybe 6+ years and more. I've seen like tweets and stuff like that, and it's just like, well, it's hard. And then confirming that they haven't been. I wonder how long they haven't been profitable for. And it's.
I mean, I think since its inception, yeah, I think always.
I don't know. I think they started going. I think they honestly started not being profitable when they started doing the big contracts for streamers like Doc and. Remember when they had Doc sign that
when
big
they got
ass? Yeah. It was still during like the Mixer phase when Mixer signed Ninja and all those people, right? Like they were signing Dr. Lupo, they were signing Doc, they were signing all these other people in turn, and then the whole thing with Doc happened, and we still don't know why he got banned.
Yeah,
But I suspect that it had something to do with them not wanting to pay out the contract, and we kind of know why. They're broke. Looks like Pokimane was right about broke boys. But yeah,
I mean, you know, to manage something like this, because you know everything's going through the servers, it just all adds up eventually. And then if you're doing deals and they're not quite panning out, or the advertisements aren't really paying as much, and you know, I mean, there's a lot of contributing factors towards why Twitch isn't profitable. But
they saw those COVID numbers where they were they were raking it in or whatever, and then obviously we're no longer in that situation anymore. So less and less people are funneling money into that shit, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. That's got to be really hard to recover from. Obviously, they probably weren't profitable before that, but I'm sure that it was like on the up during the pandemic, right? And then now it's just, it just fell down again. So I don't know.
There's also way less people just watching streams, right?
Of course, way less people streaming, way less people watching streams, yeah, because pandemic was peak season for that shit. Like,
just people are no longer like people just tend to gravitate more towards like the bigger streamers. Like it's not a good place for small streamers at all anymore. Like it's really hard to get any kind of growth or.
Well, that actually works in their favor, to be honest.
Yeah,
like
it
they're gonna lose money if they care more about smaller streamers, which we'll see.
Then it's going to be
like,
harder for them to maintain those bigger streamers because they can't afford to do the bigger contracts now. And listen, Kick.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on over there. They're funded by stake. They're
different.
able to put out big contracts. I'm sure that the contracts that have been reported, or obviously it's not as much as those, but they still can offer probably more than what Twitch is offering, especially since.
Yeah, but when you're sponsored by stake and gambling and probably other underhanded shit that we don't know about, I don't know, bro.
Nick Merckx went over to get the bag, and now his ass got to do sponsor streams with gambling, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever underhanded tactics they're using, it works. But I don't know.
Well,
I'm looking at this chart, and it's kind of crazy seeing how their revenue just dips, from Q1 2021 to Q2 2023. This shit just plummeted. That's insane.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's probably why they're doing a lot of back end modifications. I mean, this is kind of like a side story, but at CES, they kind of made a huge announcement that they were doing a bunch of back end stuff. So ultimately, it costs them less money to host and makes it more. They're able to stream higher quality to the viewers. So, all in all, I guess that's good for the future. But it seems that once they establish that thing, they just let go of 500 of those employees. So, and
I didn't know this. 47%. Okay, when was this? This is 2021. 47% of gamers consume streaming content on Twitch, 40% on YouTube. Bro, what is YouTube doing? I know this is about Twitch. I don't want to beat them while they're down, but YouTube needs to what is wrong with these guys?
They're just not doing enough,
especially
with their live streaming content.
Yeah, they're just sitting by and not taking advantage of this shit. Bro, just beat the dog. I don't know, man. These guys are crazy.
Kick the dog while he's down. Jesus.
They need to just kick him.
Beat the dead horse.
I love Twitch, but damn, bro.
It's really frustrating with the YouTube thing because it's just their platform is just not made for live. They do have the means, and their platform is just not made for live stream content. They can make for some reason they just can't do it.
They can do it to make it meant for live stream content. That's the problem.
Yeah,
they just do it.
They absolutely can. They're just not putting any effort into it. It seems, which is that's what makes it even more frustrating.
I'm obviously being a devil's advocate and saying this because this is fucked up regardless, right? People losing their jobs is fucked up regardless. But they kind of have to do what they have to do. I don't think that's gonna make them profitable, but I think it's just gonna get worse. I think they're gonna start cutting stuff. Absolutely. They're gonna start cutting staff. They're gonna start cutting things, and it's hey man, if it puts them back in a position where they can make money and this site isn't trash. I mean, the site's over the past year and a half, it's not as bad because it just seemed like it was going straight down the fucking in the gutter, but.
I mean, we're complaining about that literally every day.
Yeah, outside of the the controversies, the titties flying everywhere, and all this other crazy shit going on, but it's not as bad as it could have been. It seemed like it would have been worse by now at the rate it was going. So hopefully they can just turn it around. Dan Clancy seems like a decent person, right, when it comes to running this shit. So we'll see.
Definitely takes balls to come out and say I'm doing a shit job. Right?
Yeah, because think about it.
That's essentially what it is.
I think all of us in here were saying the same thing, right? Because we took hiatus from streaming, don't stream as often, right? Some of us don't stream at all, right? And we were literally saying do we want to just go to YouTube? There was a point where we were forget Twitch, we should just go to YouTube. And
then YouTube was fucking up.
Yeah, YouTube fucked up, and then Twitch kind of turned it around a little bit. And now it's okay, you might as well just stream on Twitch. No point not streaming on Twitch.
Yeah. So
and
now Kick is out. And then everyone especially wants to do the same thing with Kick.
And then it was Kick, but even Kick is it's still there, right? Well, when it comes to that attention, Twitch is always gonna be it's always gonna be it for gaming, right? You can go on there and do just chatting and all that the crazy shit and gambling streams and all that, but Kick is always gonna have that stigma, that negative stigma of just being stake, gambling, blah blah blah. Twitch is still gonna be it for people like us. So I don't think there's ever going to be any other site. Well, I can't say that. You never know, but Twitch is cemented in that gaming sphere right now, right? Unless YouTube decided they actually want to do some work, just saying.
And Twitch actually made the right move, just making, you can multi-platform everything. But they made it seem like they just decided. But honestly, if they didn't have the money to pay the big streamers, they had to make that move because otherwise all the big streamers would just went elsewhere.
Bounce. Yep.
Yeah. I think that was just a move to just say like, hey, like you want big money, we can't really pay you big money, so go do your thing and earn some money elsewhere
also a
while you
good phase
maintain
too.
on Twitch. Yeah.
Like, because Twitch was the
Little
only
mixture of
site that did that.
Because it
You
does
can't have all these
nothing.
other competitors you can't have all these other competitors that allow you to multi-stream, and then Twitch is just like, no.
It also doesn't really hurt the platform at all because if people were already watching on Twitch, they're not going to switch over and start watching that person on YouTube solely. Like they're going to continue watching through that avenue.
Yeah,
which
Twitch
they're
audience
watching,
is
right?
very faithful to Twitch.
Exactly. So you're going to maintain that, and they lose nothing by it, which is probably why they did it. And I mean, it's just more and more bad news for Twitch. It seems it's also like part of that like end of the quarter news, right? Like so like December profit margins probably hit, and they were like, "Yep, well, we got to make moves to be profitable in the next quarter," and that's why the classic business move, which is just lay off a bunch of people because that inflates profit margins.
That just reminded me, like, this probably happens every single year. It does happen every single year at every company, right? So, I guess now that we just know about it, now that like people are telling us, now it's a big deal. But this is just how business works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like. So,
but it's usually never to this huge extent. Like it's never like.
I think it's definitely part of that.
Yeah, but do we know that?
It's definitely part of that. I think we're seeing more of a trend
It's
just
usually like
due
10%.
to the kind of like hangover of COVID success, right? Because if we're looking, I started looking up some numbers, and if we're looking at Twitch made $2.8 billion in 2022, right? So it's like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, and if you look at the hours watched by numbers, so Twitch annual hours watched from 2012 to 2022, and 2012 was 0.2 hours watched, and then 2022 22.4 hours watched. And I'm trying to see what these are, what the hour metrics are on this site, but it doesn't really say. But it's Twitch tracker, so it's BN. What is BN? Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like you just see the influx of people that watched it and started watching, and you see the numbers just skyrocket between 2018 to 2022. So during the height of COVID, exactly what Despair was mentioning, it just jumped up in people that were watching Twitch, people that were streaming, people that were being able to watch streams at that time, and now it's no longer like that. And so it's just kind of like it's like the way the bell curve works. That was the height, and now here's the fall. So how far are they gonna fall? Can they bring it back up? Let's see.
I feel like they can, man. They just got to make the sacrifices. Like when I saw that announcement, I was like, well, I guess they're doing what they got to do. Unfortunate to the people that got like laid off, but they're doing what they got to do, man.
See, the people that did get laid off, right? I think they should. I mean, I'm in no position to tell them what to do, obviously, but as far as what they could potentially do is, go around the other side of things and try and convince YouTube to pick up certain things and say, hey, we just got laid off from Twitch and we could show you what's successful in the live stream platform.
Yeah.
I just think YouTube just doesn't give a shit. They'll never give a shit.
They don't care.
It's been like 4 or 5 years. Like if they were gonna do something to like make the live streaming a part of their platform, they would have done it. It's just more like an afterthought. There's there. So other than the big streamers getting,
shit, maybe it's too expensive. Maybe that's why Twitch is fucking not making any
YouTube
fucking
had a
progress.
similar problem as well. Like, those servers would probably cost like a shit ton
But
of money.
the crazy thing to me is, right, let's say Twitch, people are going crazy for no reason and saying, yeah, man, Twitch is gonna it's gonna shut down. I'm like, no, it's not gonna shut down. But like, think about if it was, right? And then YouTube just ignored it. Then there's some other site just came up and did like Kick and some other competitor just came out of nowhere and was like, yeah, okay, we're the new Twitch. Why would YouTube even just sit by and allow that when they have this infrastructure already? Like, what the fuck? What are these guys doing, bro? It's so frustrating because YouTube, like, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, with the changes that Twitch announced that they're trying to incorporate, well, like the higher bitrate streaming, higher quality, all this other stuff, right? Better encoding and shit like that. That was one of the main draws to stream on YouTube. So, I mean, YouTube is kind of like they're dropping the ball, man. I don't know, bro. They could have been on top of this.
The ball for
they could have been on top of this.
They could have won. They could have won this war free. Like, 2-3 years ago when we were complaining about it, all those years ago, contemplating going into YouTube.
Yeah, that was
they could have won then.
All
They
the
could've just
content
went-
creators were like, everybody switch to YouTube, blah blah blah, and then like the next year, everybody's like, yeah, never mind, just stay on Twitch. Everybody went back to Twitch.
They could have
Like,
taken
that's
Twitch
so crazy.
out. They could have taken Twitch
Yeah, that's
out
ridiculous,
at that point.
bro. Because for me personally, that's one of my main like draws to YouTube was, oh shit, I get to stream in 4K. I get to stream in 1440p. I get to stream at higher bit rates because fucking 7.5K bit rate is trash. Like that was one of the main draws. But if they're improving that shit, I don't even care where I'm at then. But I don't know. Hopefully, I feel like Twitch is in the prime spot to get it together.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
mean,
it.
eventually they'll bellow out. I mean, like I just did the math. Like if say all of these guys are getting paid like a $50,000, a year, obviously this is me kind of whatever, right?
Mhm.
Times 500, that's 25 mil. So,
Yeah, they know what they got to do, man.
yeah.
Well-
So but my hearts out to all those that got laid off. Hopefully you bounce back, all that jazz.
Absolutely.
That's not even including like benefits and this shit. Yo, bro, that's crazy. They made
Yeah.
that's actually crazy to think about. Whoa.
And well,
Oh, man.
hopefully Twitch can pick it up in 2024. Starting 2024 on a low. Let's see if they end 2024 on a high. Speaking of 2024, just had CES. CES came out, and there's a bunch of things going on in CES. So I wanted to see what did you guys see during CES that you're hyped for potentially in 2024? What kind of tech or just tech overall? Maybe it wasn't at CES, but it's just something that maybe coming out this year that you're hyped about.
I don't know, bro. I'm kind of looking into this Apple fucking what is that shit? What is it called?
The Apple Vision,
Bro,
whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called.
I'm not the biggest like Apple guy, but I don't know, bro. I might have to dive into that because that shit looks crazy. But personally,
Apple
a lot of the
Pro,
stuff,
yeah.
a lot of the tech that I usually am interested in is just, okay, what are they gonna add to this year's models of fucking monitors, TVs, whatever? What GPUs are coming out? Nvidia obviously announced fucking the super cards, which I'm not interested in, but to those that are, that's
Right.
great, right? I'm just gonna wait. What I didn't see though, which is kind of disappointing to me, like I'm waiting for just VR has been a thing for how many years now, and I feel like it just plateaued, right? Obviously, Apple is here to try to like take the technology and do what Apple does, right? They'll take existing technology and try to innovate on it. Hopefully, that's what this industry kind of needs, like the VR like industry kind of needs to like push it forward, because man, that's one of the things that I was kind of looking forward to when like, Oculus and all that shit was getting hyped up years ago. I was like, man, is this the future? Are we actually going to be having this shit like? And then nope, it just flopped because it was too expensive. People didn't want to buy it. Too
Yeah.
gimmicky. Nothing. There was nothing. No killer apps to actually sell the things, right? So that kind of disappointed me. So I'm kind of hoping that Apple does the Apple thing and pushes shit forward, even if it's slightly, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just think it's just like too expensive to get started. There's too many prerequisites to be able to do it. Like you need to have a room with an open space. Not everyone has that, right?
Yeah, but not really
there-
anymore, because wires used to be the issue, but that's not really a problem anymore, right? Yeah, back then that was the problem. They were way too fucking expensive. Like,
Yeah, I mean it's just too expensive. Like for new people to just like, oh yeah, I kind of want to try that. Like you might be able to like bank on a console, right? Like
yeah, especially because it's a
400.
peripheral, right?
Right.
For a PSVR, you still have to own a PS5. For Oculus, you still have to have a PC capable of actually, using the shit.
Right.
So it's
Running
kind
it,
of like,
by the way.
yeah. So I don't know, man.
I think,
just,
in regards to VR, it's going to be interesting what Apple does, because, yeah, it's going to be pricey, but it's also going to depend on how easy it is to use, how easy it is to get into, and then if it has that typical Apple quality where it just kind of just like works, like it just does what it does, like that's going to
exactly.
bring a lot of people to it, regardless of how
Yeah,
they felt
that's the
about it, because
mainstream
it's going to
device
get
right there.
interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'll become the mainstream, and then people could then kind of go out and look for other things that are more for their style, right? I think the Meta Quest 3 kind of did a little bit of that, because it's wireless, it's very kind of like easy to get into, and they kind of just removed a lot of the things that were kind of bringing VR down. Like there's a lot of people who are getting into the Quest because it's easier to get into. You see a lot of like casuals posting videos of memes and stuff with the Meta Quest, right? Like of like, you know, I think we've all seen the memes of like the older grandpas and or dads that are walking out on a wooden plank because they're scared of heights, and they're in the VR thing where they're at the top of a building.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, right? Like you see me like the boxing game and kids getting punched in the face by mistake. Like same thing that happened when the Wii came out and
I
kids
was
was
just about to
getting
say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
like,
Wii
come on.
controller. Oh, when
The
they
Wii and
fling
they
the
connect,
controller.
yeah.
Oh,
It just-
Look,
just
listen,
ease
listen.
of use and stuff like that. you know?
No, that's literally just natural selection.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah, for sure.
Like, people are idiots. All right, let's not.
Oh, no, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
let's
Like,
not go
I'm
off
just
that.
talking about like memes being it more like casual friendly. Like
People,
it's more
those
in
are
the
just
wide stream
idiots.
audience. There are things built into these headsets that prevent stuff like that. People just choose to ignore it. They
Yeah,
have a set
people are
play
just-
area, and it tells you when your play area is
Remember the
interrupted.
Wii remote strap? And they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
please
yeah.
put the strap on when
Please
you're
put the
playing Wii
strap
Sports.
on.
And I remember I made a mistake, and then after that mistake, I always had that strap on tight. Like, what the hell? Natural
Yeah.
selection at its finest, baby.
Absolutely.
But like, did y'all see? I don't know how much of CES y'all saw, but did you see the Sony prototype car that you can drive with
Yes.
the PlayStation controller?
And
Yeah,
you
that
could
shit is
play
godlike.
PlayStation in it too.
Yeah,
The
that's actually
main
ridiculous.
problem with that,
We're all gonna
though,
die.
the main
Yeah.
problem
We're
with
all
that
dead.
shit is that it works
We're all
off of
dead.
remote play, and that shit
Oh,
just
God.
don't work. Yep, I did see
Oh,
that.
shit
shit.
don't work.
I was
It's
interested
over.
in it, and then I saw that it worked off remote play. I immediately
Yeah, you're
lost
gonna try to
interest.
hit the brakes and it's gonna lag. Oh god, it's excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worse
I mean,
than-
for me, I didn't see too much, but obviously I was interested in all the like streaming technology, right,
Mhm.
which I talked about earlier. But also the OLED stuff, all of the new OLEDs coming out, because that means that makes the current OLEDs cheaper, and I can upgrade my stuff. So yeah, definitely looking forward to all of that, because I was kind of, well, you guys know I've been
Yeah.
wanting to make the move, but not quite ready yet. And then I just saw this thing where it's like, wait, where is it? Oh, I missed it. It's a mop. It's like a new mop or whatever.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, it's like some sort of weird mop that like cleans stains really better. I mean, like I like
It's a
shit for
Roomba
automate.
mop?
Like, bro. So yeah, I used to make fun of Roombas for the longest time, and then I bought a Roomba.
Yeah, I love that shit.
And
Yeah.
I love it, bro, because it just saves me so much cleaning time.
Just automate everything.
Yeah, man. So it's just really, and it actually works better than you think it does. Like I was like, how the fuck is gonna get
Until
this
it gets
corner?
stuck under
And
my
it'll-
bed.
Yeah, I mean, well, I bought
and then it says it's stuck on a cliff.
Yeah, it's just stuck under my bed.
Well, real talk, I actually bought that shit to clean under my bed. So like,
Nice.
it actually worked out for me. But yeah, there's supposed to be a thing where it's like it's a mop and a vacuum and a sweeper all at once, and then you can add detergent to the shit and whatever. It just seems like, oh man, rather just getting a mop and a sweeper and a vacuum, you have everything in one thing. To
Well,
me,
we know who's the
I-
most mature out of all of us now.
Look,
I know.
man,
I
as you
remember
get
me and
older,
Fala having a
you're-
conversation where I was putting him onto this mop that I bought, and he was like, "That sounds ridiculous." So,
Well, but also at the time I was mopping theaters, so that shit was
Oh,
like,
shit.
you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, because I used to clean the theater while I was like
Mhm.
doing my thing, going to an acting class or whatever. I get like a discount on my classes, so yeah, I
Yeah.
don't mind a little labor to whatever
True.
to make ends meet, So yeah. So like my mind was
You can't
always
say that
on like
nowadays.
cleaning shit. Yeah. Well, look, I don't want to talk about the acting industry. Right now. That take like, unless you want to be here for another 5 hours, because there was a bunch of shit that
shit.
happened with the voice acting shit.
Aye.
The
Yeah, shout out to AI.
SAG again with AI. Yeah, okay, so you already know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to make a whole big deal because I'm kind of waiting for the news to kind of come out. I don't want to make.
Yeah.
we'll likely
false
definitely be talking
assumptions,
about
but
that when more news develops.
but
Yeah.
it didn't look good. But then there are some people who like, it's super shady, right? Because they're like, oh no, it's not exactly what it looks. I'm like, I don't know, it kind of looks that way. And they're like, yeah, they're having a meeting, but you have to sign an NDA to attend the meeting, right? And to me, like outside looking in, that just sounds
What you
sus
hiding?
as fuck, right? Like if you didn't have anything to hide, like why would you make this an NDA? And then the people who went to that meeting are kind of like hinting like, oh, it's not as bad as it seems, but I don't know. It's a mess right now.
Mhm.
But eventually there's going to be big news in terms of like video game development and video voice acting and voice actors in general. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to be keeping track. I was already keeping track of it, but but it was just kind of funny because everyone was like, oh, man, AI is not a big deal. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not a big deal.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who in their right mind? Whatever.
Bro, all the
People are
actors,
stupid.
it's
Yeah.
basically the actors who are like already established who just want to move on and get
I'm
to
not
work or
gonna
whatever.
lie, bro. And this might be like, I don't care. A lot of actors and like performers in general are severely out of touch when it comes to like real world
Absolutely.
shit. So let's not act like most of these people are well informed.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
It's just like, especially for people who don't have their foot in the streets. Like
Yeah.
once you get into that upper middle class echelon of actors, they're not like
I mean, some people are just dumb. Let me stop.
Yeah, true,
Like-
true. I just want to make it seem like they're the smartest people of the bunch, but there's a lot of dumb actors out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want this to be a whole rant about that, but that's something to keep track of, and yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was looking forward to, and obviously anything new CPU wise, because obviously I'm looking to make the upgrade of 2025.
Oh yeah, man. Well, we'll know about that probably by the end of the year. CPUs usually launch at the end of the year, right? So like,
but yeah.
yeah.
But in terms of graphics cards, obviously I'm waiting for the new ones. I'm not gonna get the supercar. I think it's a
Shit, we
waste of
might
time
get
if
that
you
at the
have-
end of the year. Who knows?
Well,
But
that's the rumors, right?
yeah, supposedly. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope so. Because I need 2025 to come in. I need to go in swinging. 5,000 series, boom. I need my whole PC gonna upgrade. I think it's gonna be the first time I'm upgrading my entire PC at once.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the fish tank OLED?
The transparent
See,
one?
look, I think that shit is phenomenal, but I live in an
it's just
apartment
gonna
right now,
cost
so I can't do any renovating.
$20,000.
I mean, I think that's reasonable for what that is. Like, because I would love some shit like that. When I get a house, I'm definitely gonna I want like a showpiece. I always want I have like a big ass fish tank built into the wall. Now I don't need that. I could just get that. Just get that shit. Just put it on the wall. Like that shit looks cool. But the thing about that is, right? There were things like that before, but they weren't functional as both a showpiece and a TV, right? Like the new ones, especially like the LG one that I saw, like with the transparent mode and then the mode where the back like moves up so that it actually functions as an actual TV instead of just a see-through fucking wall panel. Like I fuck with it, but obviously I'm gonna wait. I can't buy it right now. I can't renovate an apartment.
None of us can fucking buy it right
so
now. Like even if you wanted that,
I get a house. I'm
it's
definitely
nice, but...
that's definitely on like a list of things that I definitely want to get later. in life.
I mean, it sounds cool in theory, but like for me, would I realistically get it? No. I mean, like I guess if I just had like a bunch of money to just blow, right? I guess. But...
Nah, I just like living. Like I'm gonna just do shit. If I obviously within means, right? But
yeah,
feel like that is cool.
I guess I'm just so used to living like very small and compactful that, but like anything huge like that is just like I don't even consider it. But how about you, Freak? You looking forward to anything?
If it's within means, you gotta treat yourself, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, like, I always like CES, and this is where my YouTube feed gets flooded with all the tech YouTubers, and because I just start to look at everything from the show floor. It just kind of reminds me, like the Marvel Stark Expo, where it's like showing off all like the high tech stuff, and it's like most of it you're never gonna see because it's all prototype. They're trying to get shareholders and stuff like that, and then the few products that they're announcing,
it's literally a science fair.
Actually going to see, and that's what's cool about it. I think that's the aspect of it that it might touch into my inner
Everyone
geek
just
and
brings their
nerd.
science project, whether it's
You
real
just-
or not.
you bring your dioramas, your working volcanoes and stuff like that, and it's like, man, it kind of takes me back, and I just get excited about the whole spectacle of it. But then I see a few things that it's like, even though I wouldn't buy it or it's not for me, it piques my interest the most for some reason. Like this, for example, I'm not a laptop guy, right? Because I just usually don't work off laptops. The only thing I work off for laptop wise is my work laptop, and that's because it's like assigned to me, and you know, like working with confidential documents and stuff like that, I need to work on that device, right? But I see I've seen it before, like the Asus ZenBook Duo, the one initially where it's like, oh, it's a top screen and then they had a half second screen on the keyboard, and I was like, oh, that'd be a really cool streaming device, like back when I was streaming, because then you have your game on the top and you could have your OBS or like your little feed on the second like mini screen, right? So now they're coming out with a new one where it's actually just 2 full screens that are folding, and there's a like kind of like a separated there's a keyboard that detaches right in the middle, so it's like a book of screens, and it's super sick. I don't know why, I just really like it. I would never buy it, but it's also priced reasonably at like $1,200 or something like that, and that's coming out like soon. It's really outrageous. I'm
a big fan of things that are practical and make my life more automated, so I don't have to do shit. So people be like, man, why would you spend money on this? Why would you spend money on that? Like, just don't worry about it. Let me shut the fuck up. All right, because I like having things that make my life more convenient, and anything that's gonna make my life more convenient. Like, I'm always thinking like, man, I want a laptop, right? Because sometimes I'm laying down, sometimes I'm in the car, sometimes I'm at work, sometimes I'm somewhere else, and I like to remote desktop and do shit when I'm not home or when I'm not in my room with my PC, right? So like, I always have these situations where I'm like, damn, I could use a laptop, but I never actually just, take the plunge and get one. But there was a new, I think it's Asus. There was a new Asus laptop that I saw, and I was like, oh shit, I might have to cop that.
Was it the Zephyrus 14, something like that?
I don't remember what it was called, but then it always happens where I'm like, why would I buy that? I could just upgrade my PC.
Yeah, same.
I always do that. I'm like, damn, I could just upgrade my PC. But,
laptops are just not as upgradable, and that's also kind of like what turns me off to them, is because they quickly become out of date, and then you just can't do anything to upgrade.
Like, you can't upgrade.
But when you get a laptop,
overheating.
When you get a laptop, you kind of, that's what you know that, like, you're getting it. You're probably gonna have it for like 4 years tops, 5 years tops, right?
Yeah. And a lot of times they're super pricey. For the same price, you could build like a bomb ass desktop, and
a
I think if you gotta get it,
is the same price as a 4080.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna get a laptop, you should get it for
a good one.
Something very, very, very small and not like gaming related. Like for example, like if you're a writer and you want to go to Starbucks to write every day, like that would be the reason you would get it. I don't think you should get it.
I don't even be thinking about playing.
You
games.
can.
Obviously, it's a plus to be able to play games on it,
it's
but like,
plus,
I don't even be thinking about it.
Like, you really, I don't know. I don't really think about it. Like for me, it'd be useful because sometimes like, if I'm out of town and there's an audition coming on, like, I can zoom some shit or figure some shit out, blah, blah, blah. It'd be cool to have like a portable thing set up.
Yeah.
But aside from like, but I'm not going to it'd be nice, but I don't want to shell out the extra cash for it when I could just upgrade my PC or get a new PC.
Talking about PC upgrades, I don't know, for some reason it's got me looking at all the monitors that they've been showing off at CES, but that
4K monitor.
There's one that's coming out actually really soon. It's the Alienware 4K QD OLED that's like 360 hertz, and that thing looks outrageous. And it's like, I'm not ready to buy it yet.
But one, it's Alienware, and two,
yes, I know,
QD OLED isn't the most reliable thing right now until it's proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like high performance like OLEDs that are, but they're 1440. They're like limiting themselves to 1440p. So it's like 1440p, 480 hertz. There was one that they also showed off at CES. I forget who. MSI. It's a 480 hertz 1440p OLED monitor. But
what are you doing that for? You're not running any game at that resolution,
except for like 2 esports games. Titles, basically. Like,
you're playing Counter-Strike and League at that. That's it. Yeah. Like, but that makes sense, I guess. If that's like your main thing, because obviously that's an important thing. But it's like, damn, the average person does not need that. But then again, the average person doesn't need half the shit that I buy. So it's like, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that I ended up looking at. And then there was also that Razer haptic cushion for your chair.
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm all for shit like that. I love shit like that.
Wait. What are you talking about?
The Razer haptic like seat cushion. So it's a seat cushion that you put onto your gaming chair. Yeah, and it gives you haptic feedback. You tweeted
It's-
about it.
Oh, and it vibrates. Oh, I did.
Yeah, that
oh, it's the
shit
same
looks-
shit. Yeah.
And that shit look comfy as fuck too. And I'm in the market for a new chair.
No, it's not a chair though. It's a cushion that goes on to
No,
a chair.
they have a chair. No,
They have a chair too. Razer has a chair too, so
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
one whole package. My problem with Razer stuff at CES, those things never come out. They're always just like projects that never release.
True.
Razer has like practically never released a CES project that they've shown off. It's usually just, like I said, prototype stuff that never sees the
Yeah,
light
but
of
it's
day.
not, I guess it's not that complicated to have as vibrators though.
Well, yeah, this
As
is one that looks like
vibrators.
likely to come out, but they've had so much stuff that they just like never release. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
I mean, look, my chair has ass fans, so I don't know what to
What the
tell
fuck?
you.
If they
That's
release
hella
that
funny.
shit, I might buy it actually. I might be into the haptic feedback on the booty.
Available to order today, $650.
That's, oof. I don't know if I'm that into vibrating the booty. I might have to play that. What was,
To be
what was the
fair,
name of that
that's
game
not
that
a
I
lot.
gifted you guys? No,
For,
it's,
for like a typical like
oh,
chair.
that's for the whole
really
thing.
not a
That's for the
lot.
chair and
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
and the
yeah,
cushion.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Razer's
reasonable.
bringing the world's first HD haptics gaming chair, $650. Yeah, that's
That's not
like
bad.
Herman
actually.
Miller's costing you more than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you're definitely
Yeah,
paying more
but it
for
also
the-
depends how good is this chair. Like aside from like the vibrating thing, like is it a good chair?
Gotta check the reviews.
Yeah.
The chair has actually been out
Exactly,
for a
yeah.
while, so it's like an add-on for the chair that they've already had. So they've definitely got reviews for that stuff.
16 haptic
Yeah.
actuators and compatible with most gaming chairs. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't something I would buy like by itself. Cause I want a new chair. I'm getting old,
Yeah,
bro.
me too. Yeah, my chair is getting a little worn out, man.
I'm about to buy me a Herman Miller myself, so I'm probably not even gonna buy one of these shits. I'm good.
Yeah, I would stick to like high quality office chairs if you can.
These Herman Miller
The
chairs are
gaming
phenomenal.
chairs are usually very gimmicky and they
Get
don't
the
last long.
get the chairs that are built to keep you as a 9-to-5 slave for 8 hours a day, as long as possible, as comfortable as possible, being productive as possible. Those are those office chairs.
I went to my
not
boy's
gaming
place and
chairs.
sat, and he had a Herman Miller fucking Aeron or whatever it is. I sat in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit for like 20 minutes. I was like, yeah, I might take this, bro. I might steal this shit from you. But those shits
You
are
know
like
what?
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herman Miller, $1,000. But you
It's
also
a
gotta think about it
fire.
like this. But the thing about it like this, what are you spending the most, especially if you're like us and like streaming and doing a bunch of stuff like on the it's
Mhm.
like I'm spending literally 80% of my life sitting in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So like why
Yeah, I'd
would
spend
I-
$1,000 till I have my back fucking
Yeah,
kill me when I'm
exactly.
40, 50
Yeah,
years
I
old.
can't. Yeah, I can't tell you how many streamers I watch, and they're like, I gotta take a I gotta take a break. My back hurt. Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's astronomical. So I think like, don't be cheap, guys.
Astronomical.
It's like that
You
old
know,
saying
like,
goes.
get yourself treat yourself.
Yeah, it's like the old saying goes, don't skip out on things that come between you and the earth, right? Shoes,
Oh,
bed, chairs,
bed. Yeah.
things
chairs.
like that. Don't skimp out. With that being said, don't skip out on hitting that like and subscribe and listening and following up with this podcast, because we are on all major platforms. And I think that's going to be it for this episode.
Damn, he's getting better at it,
Continue tuning in.
guys.
Always tuning in, and you'll be able to tune in next time. We always gonna get better, baby. We all
Get
just
better
getting
at it.
better. But we're gonna catch you guys next time. Later, y'all.
Later.
That was smooth.
Yeah, that was smooth. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Let's go.